Howdy freelancers. During an earnings call overnight, EA had a long-awaited discussion about Anthem. Many people believed this would be the moment EA would say they're dropping Anthem because of how bad the launch went, let alone the game's reception up until now. But I think everyone was pleasantly surprised by what was actually said. EA started off by saying that they're still committed to Anthem. While the game saw strong sales in the US, it didn't meet the publisher's expectations, but they're going to continue working on it because they believe in it as a new IP. EA's CEO, Andrew Wilson, said that the launch didn't meet expectations, which we can take to mean that at least 6 million copies weren't sold at launch. This is the figure outlined by Blake Jorgensen, EA's CFO. No actual sales figures for Anthem were given, and I think that's a good thing because it would just be fuel for the hater fire at this point. Andrew Wilson reiterated that EA have faith in BioWare and that they can deliver on the promises of Anthem. He added that they're aware of the feedback players have been giving and are working tirelessly to add more depth and variety in missions and game modes. A direct quote from Wilson is, "The team is now very focused on continued improvements to the game, and will then bring more content, updates and in-game events that will enhance and expand the Anthem experience. We believe in the team at BioWare, and we also believe in what they set out to achieve with this game, building a brand new IP and melding genres to meet a new audience." A highlight from the earnings call for me was the mention that more than 150 million hours have been played in Anthem since the game came out in February. That's a hell of a lot of hours for what people are calling a dead game. I found a quote on the Anthem subreddit, but I'm not 100% sure who it's from. It says that EA will basically continue to invest heavily in Anthem on content and game systems and some other things. The most interesting bit of the quote is, "It is a great new IP and we are doubling down on it." According to Jorgensen, Anthem is the biggest digital games launch that EA has ever experienced. Here he's talking about the game's digital sales specifically, which were 49% of overall sales across PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. During the call there was also mention of issues relating to scaling up the game and drip-feeding content. It seems as though EA had a plan for how they wanted to distribute new content for Anthem, which we can assume was what BioWare's roadmap was. However, the redaction of the roadmap seems to indicate at this point that it isn't how EA plans for BioWare to release content anymore. I hope that this isn't the case. Looking at Destiny 2 as an example, drip-fed content in seasons works extremely well. It sections off new pieces of content that players can get stuck into without the need for a full expansion drop, which also leads to expansion fatigue. Maybe EA were thinking that Anthem would follow a more traditional DLC drop plan, with expansions every few months. Hopefully, what EA is saying here is that there's going to be a steady stream of free content as soon as BioWare has Anthem all fixed up. I feel like the mention of scaling is odd in this call because if that's anyone's responsibility, it's EA's. BioWare are a studio who have developed mostly single-player experiences forever. Creating an MMO is no easy feat, and I think we can all remember the scaling issues the game experienced at launch. But I see that as EA's remit. They publish the likes of FIFA every year, which is one of the most popular games on the planet. Why didn't they put more in place to help BioWare out? I find it odd that they mention scaling at all because really we all know it was their fault it wasn't up to standard. I've always believed that Anthem is going to be a fantastic game, but I have to admit I feel better with this commitment from EA now. There's always a chance that a game can be dropped by a publisher, and no one who enjoys that game wants that situation to come about. I have a quick note on yesterday's update 1.1.1. It seems like the update broke the Ash Titan in Heart of Rage so that it now no longer drops loot. This is definitely an issue with the fix related to re-encountering enemies and them dropping loot, but it looks as though the game has gotten confused. However, it's possible that the Ash Titan not dropping loot is intentional. I haven't seen any data on this, but it would be interesting to know if those who have never finished Heart of Rage are getting loot drops. It's possible that the re-encounter fix relates to your first ever encounter with a boss. Either way, this is definitely broken. A looter shooter is built around facing the same bosses over and over again, so the Ash Titan should be dropping loot. Thanks for watching freelancers. Let me know what you think of this earnings call news in the comments. I'll see you beyond the wall.